Mangaru's Tutoring Services Mathematics Classes. Types of numbers, or as some persons call it, classification of numbers. In this topic, we are going to discuss natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and real numbers. We will begin with natural numbers. So natural numbers is the name given to the set of counting numbers. It is abbreviated as capital N. So these numbers will include 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then we have whole numbers, abbreviated as capital W. And this is a set of natural numbers and 0. So the whole numbers include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. We then have positive and negative integers. This is abbreviated using Z. And these will include positive numbers, such as natural numbers, 0, as we have in whole numbers, and also negative numbers or negative integers, such as -1, -2, -3. And remember, it also includes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So it increases in the negative and positive scale using whole numbers, and it also includes 0. Then we have rational numbers, represented by capital Q. These are numbers that can be written as a fraction. They can be positive or negative fractions. A rational number can also be written as a decimal. So a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction or decimal. Now these will include the positive and the negative integers as well. For example, 2 can be written as 2 over 1 if we want to write it as a fraction. -3 can be written as -3 over 1. So rational numbers will include 0, it will include fractions, it will include negative and positive numbers once they are written as a fraction. It will include decimal numbers and our usual fractions as well. Next, we have irrational numbers, represented by capital I, and these are numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. So again, irrational numbers, I, are numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. So for example, we have pi and √7. So I want you now to take some time, grab your calculator, and look for the pi symbol, and put in pi. So I will give you a moment to do that. If we press equal after finding pi, we will see that pi is equal to 3.141592654. So we cannot easily write that as a fraction. If we now put into the calculator the square root of 7, we will see the same thing happening. We are getting 2.645751311. So these are numbers in which the decimal numbers continue to go on and on and on. So there is no definite fraction for these numbers. And there are, of course, other irrational numbers that are not included in the list here. Next, we have real numbers, represented by capital R These are any numbers which can be shown as a point on a number line. They include all rational and irrational numbers. So that will include all of the numbers that we have listed above. Rational, irrational, integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. There are also other types of numbers, but we will not yet go into those types. There are complex numbers, imaginary numbers, and others. We will now do an exercise. We will firstly write down all of the questions and then attempt them. Number 1. Using the symbols above, N for natural numbers, W for whole numbers, Z for positive and negative integers, Q for rational numbers, I for irrational numbers, and R for real numbers. State which set or sets the numbers belong to. A, 0, B, minus a half, C, minus 5, D, the square root of 2, E, 0.3, and F, 1.5. Number 2. Which set of numbers? Again, I will state what each abbreviation means so that it may help you to remember. N for natural numbers, W for whole numbers, Z for positive and negative integers, Q for rational numbers, and I for irrational numbers. State which set of numbers are a subset of R. Number 3. Is Z, which stands for positive and negative integers, a subset of W, which is whole numbers? Number 4. Are decimal numbers included in Q? Q being rational numbers. Number 5. Are all square root numbers irrational? Again, irrational is represented by capital I. And number 6. Represent the number types. Again, N for natural numbers, W for whole numbers, Z for positive and negative integers, Q for rational numbers, I for irrational numbers, and R for real numbers on a Venn diagram. You should attempt all of the questions before looking at the solutions. So let's go through the answers. Number 1. Using the symbols N, W, Z, Q, I, and R, state which set the following numbers belong to. So 0 belongs to whole numbers, positive and negative integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and real numbers. A half belongs to rational numbers and real numbers. Minus 5 belongs to the set integers, irrational numbers, and real numbers. Root 2 belongs to the set irrational numbers and real numbers. 0.3 belongs to the set rational numbers and real numbers. And F, 1.5, belongs to the set rational numbers and real numbers. Number 2. Which set of numbers N, W, Z, Q, and I are a subset of R? So all of them, natural numbers, whole numbers, positive and negative integers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers, belong to the subset, or are a subset rather, of real numbers. Number 3. Is Z a subset of R? Yes. As in the question before, we can see that Z, integers, is a subset of real numbers. Number 4. Are decimal numbers included in Q? Rational numbers? Yes. From our notes, we are told that rational numbers are numbers that can be written as a fraction. They can be positive or negative fractions, and they include decimals. Number 5. Are all square root numbers irrational? No. Some of them are irrational and some of them are rational. For example, the square root of 25 is a rational number, while the square root of 7 is an irrational number. Number 6. Represent all the types of numbers: natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and real numbers on a Venn diagram. So, if we have fully understood the previous questions, we would know that natural numbers is a subset of whole numbers is a subset of integers, and integers is a subset of rational numbers. We will also know that rational numbers and irrational numbers are different, so they are disjointed. And we will also know that both rational numbers and irrational numbers are a subset of real numbers. R is a universal set for rational and irrational numbers. That brings us to the end of the exercise. Thank you for watching. If you have found this video to be helpful, please feel free to contact us for more information about our classes.